It is time for our mid-year book tag. I'm so excited to do this. I figured why not answer questions while we get ready together. So we're just gonna have some girly chats while we do our makeup, while we do our hair. We're gonna talk about all things books, my favorite reads of the year, disappointments, anticipated 5-star reads, everything you can think of, we're gonna be talking about. So let's go over to my vanity and let's get started. We're gonna quickly do our hair, and I had a few requests on how I get my curls to look the way they do. So I'm gonna go through really quickly products that I use, and then I'm gonna just kind of speed through the whole process to give you a quick rundown, because this typically takes me like 45 minutes to completely do start to finish after I'm done washing it. So the first thing I do is after I get out of the shower, I detangle. So I use a wet brush. This is fully detangled. I'll get out of the shower, spray a detangler in my hair. It doesn't matter which one you use. I just like the Maui Moisture one. I spray it everywhere and then use my wet brush to get out any knots. And then I'll go in with a very lightweight curling cream or gel. I just started using the Dad Curl Quencher. It's a moisturizing style gel. This smells so good and I actually really like it. I'm still getting the hang of it on how much product I need, but so far I've used it like 2 or 3 times now and I really do enjoy it. And it's still giving me the type of curls that I want. Again, it's just about consistency of how you want your hairs to feel, like if you want them to feel crunchy or more lightweight. The next thing that I always recommend if you have curly hair is to get yourself a Denman brush. The bristles kind of take this weird angle, like a U shape, and the bristles are kind of hard, but it really helps to create curl clumps. So what I do is I'll just pour some of this through my hair, pour some of this on my hand, make sure it's evenly spread on my hands, and then I will go ahead and just rake it through my entire head. And you want your hair to be really wet because you want the moisture to kind of lock in with the gel. If you have thicker curls, I don't know if I would recommend this because it's so lightweight. I think if you have very light hair, I have a lot of hair, but it's fine. So it's not very heavy. And I don't want this to weigh down my curls. So if I want to have my curls looking as coily as they do on camera, I need something lightweight. So that's why I like this one. Now that it is run through, I will go in now with my Denman brush, and I'll put you on time lapse because this takes a long time, but I will basically just grab a piece, maybe like an inch thick of hair, and I will grab my Denman brush, go as close to the roots as possible, twist it out so I get tension on the brush, and then I will pull away from my face, grab it at the top, and then once it finishes, it's gonna be kind of thick, and then I'll just kind of shake it like this and then move on to the next section. And I will do that all around my hair. I'll be back and you'll see the curl clumps kind of take shape. Okay, so all of my hair has now got their little clumps together. I almost forgot to tell you, I do also put in a volumizing mousse just to help make things grow. And I put that on before I diffuse, so you can just use whatever you have. Nothing too crunchy. And I don't want to put on too much because I did put a lot of gel already. But yeah, we're just going to kind of keep these curl clumps held in place. And we're gonna be really gentle when we scrunch. It may feel a little stiff once you're blow drying, but once everything is fully dried, you can go ahead and scrunch out the crunch. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and diffuse now. This takes the longest. Normally, I like to have a book on hand, so I'm reading while I do this because it takes forever. Have your diffuser, and let's see the difference. Okay, we are back and ready to do my makeup, talk about some books. I've got all of the questions for the book tag here, and I will link down below the creators that I saw with the same questions in case you're interested in watching them. I believe it's Rachel and Sarah are the two booktubers that I saw videos from. So without further ado, let's get into it because my hair is like 90% dry and we're just gonna let it air dry the last 10% so it doesn't get too frizzy. And another little trick that I learned if you're trying to get like some extra volume while it's drying is you can clip back pieces of your hair so that it kind of dries with that zhuzh at the top. So I just have like little clips and I'm going to grab some pieces and just pin them back so also they're away from my face while I do my makeup. All right, so we're starting off strong because the first question in this book tag is what is the best book I've read so far in 2024? And that is a really good question because I've read a few 5-star reads so far this year, and I think it really just depends on, do I want to go by genre? Do I want to go overall? And kind of just try my best on guessing. While my heart wants to tell me Reckless was my favorite book that I read in 2024, I think that overall, out of all of the 5 stars I've given so far, Warbreaker is just top tier writing. The plot is so good. I love Reckless purely for the vibes and the romance between Peyton and Kai, not necessarily because of the world building or anything like that. Because it's YA, I want to like not compare the two because they are very different. But Warbreaker just had a hold on me and it like, I want to reread it. I want to reread it. I want to take notes. I want to highlight things. Maybe I should do a full plot summary on Warbreaker because it is just really, really good. It's so in depth with the plot and the character development, and all of the things that the characters go through in that book are crazy. If you read that book, you know, Lightsong is just like the best character ever. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it to Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. Now, the best sequel that I read in 2024, that is definitely gonna go to Reckless by Lauren Roberts. If you can't tell by my channel and my recent videos, I'm obsessed with the Powerless series. I think they are so fun, super fast paced, just a really enjoyable YA romance slash fantasy dystopian, whatever you want to call it. I love that series so much. It's so just fun and gripping, and I just fell in love with the characters. I really liked it, and I know it has a lot of mixed reviews. Some people, you know, you can have your opinions on it. I found it very enjoyable, and Reckless did not disappoint for me. I think it did what Lauren Roberts said it would do, which is really just focus on Peyton and Kai's relationship and not really get into the politics too much. We did learn new things, but I think everything is gonna come out in book 3 with what's gonna happen between the kingdoms and people with powers, people without powers. I think we're gonna really see that more in book 3, but book 2 is not about that. And I think she even mentioned that's not what her point was with book 2. So if you go in knowing that, you know you won't really be disappointed with how book 2 goes. And yeah, I loved it a lot. So a new release I have not read yet, but want to. I have yet to read Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. That is a duology. Book 1 is Divine Rivals. I gave that 5 stars last year, and I received book 2 as a Christmas gift. I got like a really pretty special edition copy, and I've just been waiting to read it because I have to be in the right mindset. Book 1 was very emotional for me in good ways, but it's such a profound YA fantasy. Like, it's not, I'm just gonna be real with you, it's not Powerless. It's not like this easy to read book. It's emotional, and I have to be in the right mind space to read it. So that may be its own separate video, I don't know, but for right now, I have yet to read it, so it's on my TBR for sure. My most anticipated read for the second half of the year is the sequel to Assistant to the Villain. I don't know if I remember the title of it, but I will have it put up here. I loved book 1. I gobbled it up. It was so funny, so lighthearted. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, and I don't know if people understood what the point was with this book. This is satire, okay? This is what would happen if the goody two-shoes girl got a job working for a supervillain, and how that worked. It's Grumpy Sunshine to the extreme, and it was so cute, so cheesy, so funny. The jokes were awesome. It really reminded me of Shrek with the humor. I just love the concept. I love that this girl is the personal assistant to this guy who's this arch villain, and he's evil and he does things, and he has like his own secret lair, and so she has to work there, and it's funny. It's a good time, and I think book 2 comes out in August. I'm looking forward to it so much. I'm gonna do a reread soon. If you haven't yet read it, I highly recommend it. It is just, if you like fantasy romance and like tropey books, it kind of makes fun of that, but in a really good, it was well done. Okay, so just trust me when I say it's a fun time. You'll enjoy it, and the cover is adorable. What has been my biggest surprise? Weirdly enough, Finlay Donovan is killing it in that whole series. I don't know, like, it was not what I expected at all. I thought I was not gonna like it. I found it on the library app that I have for audiobooks. I decided, why not? I just need something to read. I flew through it. It was funny, it was cheesy, it was quirky. It would make a really great movie. We have a single mom, newly divorced, and she's struggling to get cash. She's trying to be she's an author, but she hasn't been doing really well, and she has a deadline for her next book, and they're like on thin ice, like they're about to drop her. She's talking to her agent, and a lady overhears her talking and misunderstands what they're talking about, and she thinks she's an assassin, like a lady that's paid to people. So this lady confronts her and is like, I need you to take care of my husband, if you know what I mean. And she's just flabbergasted. She doesn't know what they're talking about, but the lady offers a ton of cash, and she's in a bind, she's in a pickle, and things just go from there. It is so funny. I really enjoyed it, and I think it should be picked up as like a really funny TV series or movie series. And I was just surprised that I liked it as much as I did, because I don't typically like really cheesy things, but it was done, again, it was just done really well. I like the camaraderie we get and the girl friendships and her trying to juggle a lot of things all at once. It was fun. My favorite new author, or an author that's new to me, I want to say Isabel Ibanez. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She wrote What the River Knows, and I love that book so much. I don't know if it's her debut novel, but it was just so well done. I loved her writing style. I love that her main character was Spanish, and it takes us kind of like all around the world, different countries, and we're on this like little Indiana Jones type of adventure. We get a little bit of romance in there and mystery, and I was just so impressed by her writing style. I'm excited to see what else she comes up with. I know this is book 1 in a series, but if she comes out with anything else, I'm most likely going to pick it up. My newest fictional crush. This is gonna kind of sound funny, but Murtagh from the Aragon series. I read the new book Murtagh, and it just reminded me of the character Murtagh from the original series, but because we get his main POV throughout this book, it just brought back a lot of feelings, and I love his character. I think he is the underdog. I think he's the anti-hero, but is trying to redeem himself and atone for his sins in the last series, and I love him for that. I think we need to be rooting for him. And also I had a crush on the movie version of him when the old movie came out. A book that made me cry. Let's see. I have so many of these. We have Powerful, we have The Wishing Game, The Midnight Library, Redeeming Love. I could go on. All of those books were highly emotional, pulled at your heartstrings. They're just so well done, and if you are in the mood to cry, I recommend those. But if you don't like crying, I don't think you should read these, because they will. They're going to make you cry. I don't necessarily want to put on eyeshadow, but I think we'll just put on a little bit because we're here. A book that made me happy, Someone Else's Shoes by Jojo Moyes, is just such a good time. We deal with heavy-hitting stuff, but the ending was so good. I love the friendships that were formed in this book, and the growth that we see in our characters, and it just leaves you feeling so good at the end of it. If you're a girl's girl, even if you're not a girl's girl, but you're like, I kind of wish I was, it's such a good book, and it left me feeling really happy and giddy inside. Not because there's necessarily romance, even though there is a little, but it's not about that. It's just about women dealing with life, and there's so many different types of women out there. You know, there's the mom that's really busy and their house is a mess, and then there's like, you know, the executives, entrepreneur, CEO type people that are just like go-getters, on the go all the time, barely stop for themselves. Right, we get two different types of women in this book, and you feel for them in different ways. And it just makes me feel good. I'm gonna add a little bit of glitter because why not? And we're also gonna talk about the most beautiful book I read or have bought this year. I may have to give this title to Ruthless Vows. I have the special edition from Owl Crate. It is stunning. It matches the book 1 of Divine Rivals, and she's perfect. She's everything I wanted. I have nothing but amazing things to say about the book cover. Yeah, I love it so much. I think it's the prettiest book I've gotten so far this year. What books do I need to read by the end of the year? My TBR list is quite extensive, but I have to finish the Red Rising series. I need to read the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I'm quite determined to finish both of those 2 series. I need to read Ruthless Vows. I'm also currently reading the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I think book 1 is The Assassin's Apprentice, and I'm reading book 2 right now. So I want to finish that whole series. I actually really like it. I like her writing style. It's just very Arthurian fantasy, so if you are into that and you don't necessarily care for a magic system, I think you would really like the book. We're almost done, and I have a few extra questions here. So next question, what books do I want to reread this year? So obviously that's gonna go to Assistant to the Villain because book 2 comes out next month. Favorite authors so far this year? Oh, that's a toughie. I just read The No-Show by Beth O'Leary, and I just love her writing so much. She is underrated in my opinion. I don't see enough people talking about her, and she just does it really well. Anything she does, whatever it is, it's good. It's gold. So she may be one of my favorite newer authors that I've discovered. Books I've been putting off. Honestly, I have been putting off Happiness for Beginners by Catherine Center, the Red Rising series, the Mistborn series. Some books, I think, I'm definitely a mood reader, and while I try to have variety in the books that I read, if I'm getting in a slump, I just won't read, period. And I'm a little behind right now on my reading challenge. And honestly, that's just due to me being busy or taking a long time to read through audiobooks when I'm doing stuff with my hands or whatever. But also these books specifically, I just know are going to take me some time to get through. Specifically Red Rising series. Book 1 was really intense, and I've heard it only gets worse from there, so I need to be in a good headspace to take that on. And then Mistborn is a whole different world. I think it's sci-fi, so I think actually both of those series are sci-fi. So I need to prepare myself and maybe make a whole week dedicated to sci-fi books or something. But as of right now, I'm kind of on a fantasy kick, so I don't really want to read anything else. A book I enjoyed that has mixed reviews. I have seen so many people rave and bash Reckless, and honestly, I get it. I think you have to take it at face value. Is it a groundbreaking novel that has never been seen before? No. Is it tropey? Yes. Does it remind you of some other popular YA books? Yeah. But who cares? I think there is no such thing as reinventing the wheel when it comes to books. I think most of the time it's gonna have inspiration off of something, and I think that's okay. So yes, I get it, but I still love it. I get that there's hate on that series, but I still love it. Almost done. I'm just gonna put on some lip gloss because I don't like the feeling of bare lips. 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. I do not know. I have no idea what is like new or coming out soon. I have high hopes for the sequel to Assistant to the Villain just because I loved book 1 so much. If you have any recommendations or you know of some releases that are coming out later this year, let me know so I can check them out. Because I've really just been trying to tackle what's currently on my TBR shelf and not buy new books. Do I think I'm gonna reach my reading goal? I really hope so, but I am behind. I'm at 44 books so far this year. And we're gonna try my darnest, but I'm about 10 books behind schedule. And do I have any new goals for the rest of the year? No, I think I'm going to stick to my reading goal of 100 books. If I don't reach it, that's okay. It's just like a number to have, but it keeps me on track. It lets me remind myself occasionally, hey, pick up a book. You know, you can stop scrolling on TikTok or whatever. Better for your brain to just like not be on a screen all day, especially because that's my job. So yeah, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that, and I think it's a fine goal to have. And if you have a number that's less than that, that's totally fine too. That's just what works best for me, hopefully. But yeah, this is the finished look. We can take out my clips now. It's still drying a little bit, but yeah, this is the final look. All right, this is a completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this get ready with me. It's not something I typically do, but if you like it, let me know in the comments. I'd love to get your opinion on that. If you have any book recommendations or what are your anticipated 5-star reads for the rest of this year, let me know in the comments down below as well. I'll have some videos right here in case you're interested in watching, but until next time, I'll catch you in my next video. Mwah. Bye!